Yes. Mm. Oh, yes. Oh, hello. How fantabulosa, Nevada, all you Fortoniomes and Polonians with your orbs on the jolly old league. Yes, simply bona. No, I haven't gone stark raving mad, nor am I speaking in tongues. That's just theatrical slang. How marvellous it is to see all of you looking at me. Yes. Welcome to Denton's theatrical tales, because there's no Vikings in it. No, not things that go bump in the night. Yes, the theatre. It might surprise you to know that I was an actor. After all, I mean, there's nothing even slightly theatrical about me, is there? No, not a thing, Ducky. You'd never notice a thing. You'd never notice it if I hadn't told you, would you? No, of course you wouldn't. Nothing theatrical about me at all. Well, maybe just a bit. And I do like a bit now and again. Yes. Some people say I can be a bit over the top. Yes, but they're just jealous, you see. Yes, they're jealous. That's what it is. But I suppose a bit of over the top is to be expected in an occupation where everything is larger than life, you know. It's exaggerated, or to sort of put it into a word, theatrical. Or at least for a stage actor, which is what I was. Oh, yes, I trod the boards, Ducky. Oh, I trod those boards so well. It was awfully good, you know. Where one is playing, of course, to an audience who are at least 20 or 30 feet away, if you count the front rows of the stalls, and well, they may be 150 feet or more up in the gallery. So everything has to be larger than life. It has to be big. Yes, it has to be big, you see, or you won't see it at all. On television, one can sort of mumble, you know, and you can say, yes, I think that's absolutely horrible, yes, it's terrible, really, like that. Everybody can see it and hear it. The slightest expression, you know, the most fleeting twitch of your mouth, the most subtle tone of your voice, it stands out like a beacon. But if you say it like that on stage, you know, well, in the front row of the stalls, you're going to hear it at all. And up in the gallery, or the gods, as we used to call it, you will appear to be quite expressionless and totally silent, just moving your mouth a bit. Yeah, it's like that. I ask you. I've seen an actor in a stage play, and he was used to television work, and he was being filmed by a camera, you see, just a few feet away, or doing radio work and talking into a microphone, and was sitting up in the gods, hadn't the slightest idea what he was talking about. And it was like watching a mime artist. I mean, he could have been reciting a recipe for making chocolate fudge, for all I knew. Oh, actually, he was saying lines that were vitally important to the understanding of the play, to know what it was about, with the result that it lacked something. Yes, like a plot. Since I had missed the reason why the characters were doing all the things that they were doing. You know, it's like watching an old silent movie with the captions turned off. Of course, it can work the opposite way when stage actors do television or radio work and they forget that they're not on a stage talking to hundreds of people in a vast building, you know, and everything they do is intended to be viewed from far away, not a camera stuck right up in front of their eek. So they appear to be they're shouting, you know, even when they're talking to someone standing right beside them and making awfully strange faces, like they have some kind of facial palsy. What? It was the butler who did it? Oh, my God! I would never have thought it for a moment. No! No, it's charming. The stage is the stage, you see, and television is television, and never twain shall meet, I suppose. No. A huge difference between the stage and the screen, of course, are the three things that plague the stage actor but leave the television performer completely unscathed. The fluff, the dry, and the corpse. And what are those, you ask? Now, a fluff. Yes, and now a fluff is when you make a right proper dog's dinner of a line. Like, you're supposed to say, "Go, fear not, your lover lives." But you say, "Go, fear not, your liver loves." Yes, try getting out of that one. For film or television, of course, they just cut out the fluff. You say the line again, and all's well. But on stage, oh no, that don't do it all. A few hundred people just heard it. There's nothing you can do about it. So you just carry on regardless and hope nobody noticed. The dry. Now the dry. That is when you can't remember the next line, and you either stand there with your mouth open looking a right proper Charlie, or you try to ad-lib something, hopefully appropriate to the storyline, like in the modern play, I suppose one might say, "Oh, bother, the Wi-Fi's off again!" Or in a period piece, you could, I suppose, say something like, "Well, slap me vitals, 'tis lovely weather we are experiencing, forsooth." Yes. A perfect example of a dry, and a simply wonderful ad-lib, because the ad-lib was mine, you see, yes, and that was awfully good, occurred when I was playing Vincentio in Shakespeare's The Taming of the Shrew, Act 4, Scene 5, at the Dublin Gate Theatre back in 1975. The actor playing Petruchio had a, interesting habit of downing a bottle of brandy in the dressing room. Oh, not recommended as a memory aid by a long way, Ducky, no, definitely not. And he was slightly pickled. In fact, he was so pickled he'd have put a gherkin to shame. He was supposed to say, "And further, tell us which way you travelled. If we're going the same way, we would enjoy your company." And I would reply, "Good sir, my name is Vincentio, and I am from Pisa. I am going to Padua to visit my son, whom I have not seen in a long time." Did he give me the cue? No, of course he didn't. He stood there for a moment or two with a glassy stare on his face, like a goldfish trying to remember if it was feeding time. And he said, So I, thinking awfully quickly, of course, that was very good, dear, said, "I see thou dost wonder where my destination lies. Well, I shall tell thee. My name is Vincentio, and I am from Pisa. I am going to Padua to visit my son." So I asked myself the question that he was supposed to ask me, and then answered it for him. And brilliantly, of course. Well, it was me, darling. What would you expect, you see? That was a dry and an ad-lib. And the corpse. The corpse. Well, you see, a corpse is when an actor can't help laughing, often quite inappropriately, especially if they get a fit of the giggles during a tragic, heart-wrenching death scene, or something equally unfortunate. Why it's called a corpse, I really have no idea, since most dead bodies are rather quiet, They tend not to be very conversational. At least any corpses I ever encountered were hardly the life and soul of the party, by a long way. But who am I to argue with established tradition? We were doing a play called Swim Two Birds in the Abbey Theatre back in the early 70s, and there was a line in it that went, "You could do that till your snot fell off." Yes, wonderful line. The actor who said it looked at his fellow performer beside him, and that man looked back at him, and then they both burst out laughing. They recovered. Oh, yes, they were professionals, you see. Yes, they recovered. They looked at each other to continue the scene and collapsed in hysterics. Yes, they sat there, shaking with laughter, totally unable to do or say anything except laugh hysterically, which of course they did very well. Every time they made eye contact, they just started laughing again, like a couple of hyenas on steroids, who'd heard the funniest, most side-splitting joke ever written. Of course, by that time, the audience was laughing too, and that went on for over 10 minutes before they got themselves under control sufficiently, and the play proceeded. If there was a category in the Guinness Book of Records for lengthy laughs, well, that one would have won hands down. It was a good job the play was a comedy. Wouldn't have done much for the tragic mood in Hamlet or King Lear, would it? No, that would not have been good. So, with that thought, I shall leave you, duckies, and I shall say ta-ta till the next time that you set your orbs on me jolly old eek. Till then, all I can say is, well, carry on regardless. Bye.